This is the Porsche Cayenne. Let's do a walkthrough. First, we're going to start with the doors. So if your car has the comfort access, then you should be able to stick your hand right in the door and it should open right up. If you wanted to lock it, you just press that little indentation there and you've got an unlocked car. But let's get inside the car and let's start our tutorial. Right when you step in, you're going to see that the key is right there. This one has the comfort access, so all you have to do is put your foot on the brake down there, and with the key in your pocket at the same time, you just turn this and you have the car now turned on. Let's take a look. All right, so looking around, you'll see here that in your new Porsche Cayenne, you've got a digital screen in here. You also have a pretty massive digital screen here. It's going to ask you to do the setup wizard for the English, Spanish, French, whatever you prefer, and obviously they'll go through the different questions in here to set up your profile. You should have gotten the email already, and once you did, we can set that up specifically with you and walk through that portion of it. But first, let's start going over some of this stuff on this panel before I get into the touchscreen. This stuff is very important. This stuff that you see here is going to control climate control systems. At the top, you're going to see that there are some of your home row keys that you can always click on at any moment while you're driving, and it's going to get you to a certain section just depending on what you click down here. Whether it's apps, phone, assist, nav, it would bring it directly into the nav screen if you hit nav, or vice versa for one of the other buttons. Let's jump down to the left section. So you'll see temperature, and then you'll see the fan speed. The temperature, you can kind of choose the one you want, and then you choose the fan speed you want. Sometimes you'll find that the air isn't coming out of the vents, it's only coming out of these vents, or it's only coming out of these vents. What you want to do is you come over here to climate, and you make sure that that is highlighted with the red. If it's up here, it's going to shoot air from the top and to the face. But if you have only the red one checked, it's only going to shoot air from this section and here, and this section over here. If you hit, obviously, the feet, it's going to do the feet. If you hit the top, it'll do all of the different air, including the feet, middle, and the top. Sometimes you'll get in the car, you'll have it on high, and it's on low for the temperature, high on for the fan speed, and it's still not blowing hard enough. What you can do is you click comfort, then you click regular, and you can go to strong. Hit the back button there, and then for the other side you can do strong, so that when air does finally come out of the vents, it'll come out strong regardless of how high you have the fan speed here. It's always going to have a strong strength even on low. But as you go higher and turn the temp down, you'll hear that the fan really turns up pretty loud. So I'm going to bring that back down so we can hear. If you want to control the rear, you can just click on rear and you can control it just like we were doing on the front. But in this section, when you hit the face, you'll see that the side ventilation kicks in, and so does the middle when you hit the face here. So see, air is coming in through both of those. If you hit the feet, it's going to come from under the seat as well. And this is the right side, here's the left side. So you can control that, and from here you can even control the fan speed, ventilation on or off. But next, so I'm coming back over here. I'm going to go over this really quick. This has got a haptic touch, so when you touch it, it feels like your phone kind of has a clicking type of sensation. You can turn on cooled and heated seats at the same time. Some folks like them both. Some folks enjoy them both on at the same time. This is going to be your front and rear defrosters. There's your sport button, and then if you hold that down long enough, it will turn traction control off. and it makes that little prompt. I'd say you always want traction control on, unless you're feeling very brave or you're racing somebody and you want all the power. This is going to be a mimic of the buttons that are on the left over here, but you also add the max AC and the circulation interior. I'd say you always want the circulated air on, because you can start bringing in, and you probably smelt this exhaust from other cars in the past when you've driven. Let's come back to navigation. On the navigation screen, you're going to see the arrow here where you can type in whatever it is you want to type in. So in this instance, we'll type in Porsche Central Austin. Then it says start route guidance. Since it's 50 feet away, here's actually the phone number as well on the bottom for Porsche. And you can click it if your phone's connected, or you can just start the guidance right away. And there it is.
Please drive to the route shown.
And as she's talking, you can turn up and down the volume to increase or decrease her rate of pitch, or her rate of tone, I'm sorry. And some folks don't want to hear, some folks do want to hear, so you can kind of play that by ear however you'd like. And all you do again, if say you get twisted around over here, just hit the circle here. It's going to center you, find you on the map. There we are in the orange. And then if you were twisted around like that, just make sure that you hit this arrow on the right side, and it'll get you exactly where you need to be. Up here on the top, you'll notice that there's this, looks like a pancake type of burger deal. 3D map, I'd say always turn that on. The satellite map, you're going to have that for a little bit. There's going to be a trial period after it runs out. If you have the Porsche Connect for, it's a certain amount of money per month, then you will get the satellite map, which it shows there. And when you're on 3D map, it's going to do, it's going to view the map in a way that it's not over the top. It's just looks like it's coming from the side. More of an angled down look instead of the over the top look like most maps that we've been used to for a long time. Let's come over to media next. On the media section, you'll find that right up here at the top, you have your source setting. You can choose whatever you'd like, whether it's Sirius AM, FM, or Bluetooth if you have your phone connected. In this case, let's go to Sirius. And in Sirius, let's go over to list, and then let's go to channel list. The channel list allows you to see all of the different, really, every single station that they've got to offer. Some people are used to just the icon, so it's easy for them to go click one. And on the other side, you have this little star here. So you can hit the star, and then if you come back to your faves, you'll have it here on your favorites. Here's all your recently played, and you can just hold them down and drag it over to your favorites if you're on this channel or on this page specifically. If you come back to lists and you want more on your favorites, you can go to Margaritaville, hit the star, now it's on your favorites. You can go to deep tracks, hit the star, it's on your favorites. And we come to this screen now, zoom down here. And you can do that with FM too. So if we're on an FM and you like a certain station, so let's see. So say it's Bob FM, some people's favorite. You can press star. Now if you come back to your favorites, you'll notice that you have a mix of Bob FM along with the other Sirius channels on your favorites. So you can pick and choose what you want right then and there, and you don't have to go to other pages to find your favorites. This is really cool. I'd say try to get a bunch of your good favorites in there so that you're not fumbling around when you're driving looking for them. Next, let's go to phone. On the phone setup, I'm assuming that you set up your phone, but what you're going to do is you're going to search for the phone. Once it finds it, you're going to add it. If you have your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi on at the same time while you're adding the phone, and you have an Apple phone, it's going to prompt you for Apple CarPlay. Select yes, Apple CarPlay is available on your phone, press allow, and then you're going to press accept on the Apple CarPlay prompt that it asks you some specific questions. And once you press OK, it's going to come up in red. Once you press OK there, it will allow you to see Apple CarPlay. Next, we're going to go over the car settings. So inside the car setting, you have different modes. You have sport mode, you have normal mode, and you have individual mode. Sport mode is going to allow for more responsive engine. Individual mode will allow you to customize how you want the car to drive at the time. So if you don't want like the auto start stop on or off, you can have it on or off in individual mode. And then you can also turn off things like traction control if you don't want that on in that specific individual mode that's over here. You can leave it just like that. But for now, let's leave it the way it is. Most folks don't ever play with that. They just like normal mode and sport mode. There's an off-road mode here too. You can go through and pick and choose how you want the car to handle these different off-road situations. For right now, let's just leave it in on-road. If you ever have one of these selected and you have a map, it's going to give you a really funky route because it thinks you're going off-road. So it might take a lot longer. If your map ever looks funky, just make sure that the on-road is selected on in the off-road position. Over here you can go to controls, so you can control anything from your locks, your lights and visibility, your seat settings, and all the different good stuff. Back to the front, if you came over here to this ambient lighting section, you can choose it. Then you can actually choose how bright you want the ambient total brightness, and you can actually go individually and change these. See how they're all going to 100 now? And you can change the color. Most people choose the blues, unless you really want to appear very sporty, then obviously choose the red. But play with that. It's fun to choose a color for different parts of the day, especially once the evening rolls around. Looks really nice and it looks really neat in the blue colors. So we went over climate control earlier. Here's an app section. Once you have the Apple, not the Apple CarPlay, but once you have the Porsche Connect accepted and you did get the Porsche Connect system going, the one where you're paying per month, you can actually have access to all these apps. Here's the assistance. If your car did have some assistance packages, it would be found in the assistance package. Most cars come with the lane change assistant. Some of them have the Porsche Active Safe. If you touch them, that just turns them on or off. In this case, let's just leave them both on. On the sound, this is a very important one. So what you want to do is come over here to the Bose, and right now we're on FM as the source, so we're going to only affect the FM stations. If, for example, you were on Sirius, let's go to Sirius. If we're on Sirius and we were playing with the sound, it's only going to now say surround Sirius instead of saying surround FM. I'd say only choose the top one and the surround a true Sirius. That should be about all you do. On the bass and the treble, everyone's ears are different, so set that up in a way that it sounds good to your ears. Whenever I set mine up, I normally do like 4 and 5 on the treble, but other folks are different. Some people don't want any treble, some people want all bass, or vice versa. Play with that however you'd like. And this is just more volume controls in here. Here is your device manager. If you were ever curious to see if you're connected or not, you can come right over to the device manager on your home row keys to the left and set that up. Here's your settings button, kind of like what we were in earlier inside of the car settings. You have your driver profiles, vehicle settings, assistant settings, display settings. All the settings are just going to be found in the settings control panel. Next, let's come over to the steering wheel. Alright, next we're going to go over this specific button right here. This button allows you to customize it however you want to do a specific task. In your case, you might want it to skip songs, so let me show you how to do that. You're going to come over here to settings, and then you're going to come to steering wheel button, and now it's selecting next station /next track, and the button above it says previous station / previous track. For now, let's just leave it on next station / next track, and that's going to be the button you press when you want to switch stations, or if you're on a certain playlist, you can switch to the next track by pressing that button. And then your volume is going to be on the left side. It'll be the plus and the minus. When you actually click this button, it'll allow you to go into the subset of that little window. In this case, we're under one of the vehicle settings. Next, we can come down to trip setting. You can click this little button. This little gadget allows you to go into the subset of information. In the map, you can click that little button again, and I'd strongly suggest turning the map on 3D map, and then auto zoom is on. Here's the G-force meter. Unless you're racing, you don't necessarily need it. This will help you maintain just control of where all the power is on the wheels. And then tire pressure. Once you get to 15 miles an hour, it'll actually read out your tire pressure. And for now, we'll leave that there. On the left side, you can kind of do the same thing. There's not as many settings in here, but you can kind of control what you do and do not see. If you had the map going, then it can show you route guidance on one of the subset windows, like this specific one. So that is the hard stuff on the dash and some of the home row buttons. Next, let's go to this button right here. Allows you to do the cruise control. So once you're rolling, if you're going 75 or something like that, you just keep your foot on the accelerator while you're cruising. You press this button on the edge, and it's going to prompt. See that little icon that came in? That little icon is letting you know that the cruise control is ready. So once you're cruising, you just press this forward, and it will set for the speed that you're at. If you want to cancel it, you just push down. If you want to lower your speed, you just pull back at you. So if you're at 75, you're going to go down to like 73, hit it 2 times. If you're wanting to cancel altogether, you just push the whole thing down, and it will cancel that. So play with that a little bit. If you have any questions on it, let me know. But it does have some information on the top to kind of let you know what it does and does not do. But the keys over here, I'd say these are always supposed to have this in auto. If you get rolling and you don't see it in auto, just turn it on in auto and it'll stay right there. On the left side, you have your memory settings. So once you set up your position exactly the way you want it, all you got to do is press set and then press 1, and you'll hear that little announcement letting you know that it is working. Next, you have these buttons over here. You probably figured out how to use those, but you just select the window, and then you can kind of select exactly where you want the position of your windows. This guy here will allow you to fold in your mirrors. It also allows you to lock the windows, so child locks will be controlled here. You can open and close your trunk with this button here. Next is the main buttons here on the top. This guy, you probably figured out that it's going to open up your moonroof. Some people call it a sunroof. You can call it whatever you want. You just push right there, and now it's up. And then you pull it down to make it come back. But this is the main screen. Another good one that most folks forget to go over, this is the parking brake. So when you push it down, it's not going to do anything. When you pull it up, it's going to engage. If it is engaged and you want it off, you got to put your foot on the brake. Then you got to push this button down, and it'll go away. When it's on, it's also going to show the brake inside right by the little indicator. But for now, we're going to turn it off. One really neat thing on the headrests is they do come up by pushing the button and pulling up, and they also go forward as well. So if you have somebody sitting here, whether it's a family member or a friend, and they want to adjust that, it does come up and it does come forward to really set up for a nice, comfortable ride. If you want to change the way your home screen looks, you can come up here and you can go to configure home screen. Once you're in here, it's going to have this main section, and these individual sections are where you drag your categories. So for example, you want navigation, so you select it and you click and hold and drag to that specific spot. So now navigation's here. You have different layouts as well. So they've already preset some different layouts from Porsche manufacturer, and they're pretty neat. One gives you different map destinations that you're recent, and this gives you a little bit more clean layout with the map over here on the right side with your apps in the middle. So you can pick and choose the different layouts, and then once you're in, you can navigate which specific subsets you want on your front page. So that is a lot of the hard stuff that most people have questions about when they're going over the car. You'll notice that all of the doors have this little divot here if you do have the comfort access, and you can stick your hand in any single one and it's going to do what the first door does. Coming over to the front, you press that button once and it will raise. If you're like me and you have some family members who cannot touch this, you can lower it to a level which is comfortable for them to reach up, or if you have a garage door that you're tired of slamming, you pull it down to the level where you like it and you hold this button down and it made that little noise. It's like ding ding, letting you know that it has saved it. If you press this button here, what it's going to do is close the trunk, and it's going to lock the doors if they are all closed. So I'm going to bring this right back up and show you. This is where your inflatable tire is. If in the event you do have an accident with the tire, you'll pull the tire out, and then once you've got it out, you're going to use that little air pump in the back to fill and get this thing pumped up with air so that you can put it on like a normal tire. I strongly suggest that you do just call the roadside assistance folks and let them deal with it, because your life is very important and it's better not to take a risk like that. That covers just like that by sliding it into the side, and then it just goes right back in. Some people leave it down, some people don't mind however it looks. So this is your trunk. Those seats do fold down by using this lever here. So you pull it, then you fold the seats down. Sometimes these seats can look a little too reclined for some folks, so you pull that little handle, and now you'll see that it's a lot more upright versus earlier when it was reclined like the other one is currently. So I'm going to recline it back and see now it's even more reclined than that one. So play with that however you'd like and get the seats set up exactly the way you like them. On the gas cap, as long as the car is open, you can come up, press on that, you unscrew this, and then you set it directly on there. And please do not forget, it does only take high-end gas. So every time you're at the gas station, get the highest one available. 93 is what we recommend. So that is the Cayenne technology walkthrough. If you have any more questions, please reach out to me and I will get you up to speed with whatever it is you're looking for. Hopefully you're having a nice day. Enjoy.